Sell big with one small tip. Hey, what's up? This is Pete here, and I'm excited to share today's video with you because it is a tip or a strategy, if you want to look at it that way, that you can implement into your business or career immediately and see an instantaneous result in how you come across with your clients. Whether you're doing your consultations or meetings online or face-to-face, this works in every scenario and every industry. So I'll add to this, if you sell to individuals within the consumer market, this is going to work like crazy. If you sell to big companies, guess what? This is also going to help you to sell your product or service like crazy to companies. So good news, you're in the right place today, especially if you want sales to be easier for you, if you want to be able to keep your client focused, and then by the end of this video, you'll have this one small tip that, as I say, you can implement right away. So without any delay, let's get into it with setting the scene of the usual scenario that we get when we are in a consultation. Now, I'm sure you've had this many times before where you're sat down with a client and you think, they're the dream client. I know that I can help them. I know that my product or service can make a fundamental difference in their life, but there's one problem. And that is you cannot seem to keep your client focused. They get distracted. They ask you lots of questions that aren't relevant. And you're thinking, I know this client came to see me, or this prospect is having this meeting with me because they told me that they want to solve this issue. But here we are talking about all these other things, or they're bringing up all of these different objections or questions or concerns, and it's distracting away from the reason why we're meeting right now. So how do we eliminate this in an instant and ultimately take back control of the conversation and remove all the pressure from the room for both you as the seller and your client? Well, it's as straightforward as this. Focus on the one thing. So what does this actually mean? Well, when you sit down with your client, sure enough, you can talk to them about 10 or 20 different areas that you can help them with. However, what we must remember is that there is a primary reason why your client or prospect is having a conversation with you in the first place. So the nature of this tip to sell big is to focus on that primary reason and only that primary reason. Now, don't get me wrong, you might think, but Pete, surely I've got to share my expertise, and if they've got questions about other areas, I should be answering their questions. Absolutely. However, think about this. The time you have with your client is valuable. It's valuable for them and it's valuable for you. You do not want to be wasting that time in a conversation that's nothing to do with the primary objective why they've come to see you in the first place. So this is how you can do it in a real life context. When you sit down with your client, the first thing that you do after you've built a little bit of rapport is say, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it's so great that we're having this conversation today. Do you mind if I ask you, what's your number one outcome that you're looking for in your business or life right now? Or what's the number one goal that you're wanting to achieve with your body or with your business? And then listen to the answer that they give you. You're not asking for the number 2 thing. You're not asking for the number 7. You're only asking for the number one reason why they're seeing you today, or the number one goal that they are wanting to achieve. When your client or prospect gives you the answer, that is your area of focus for your meeting. However, you might say, but Pete, what if they give an answer and I don't believe that that's their main outcome that they want? This is where this tip really comes to life. Because what you do is, as you listen to the way that they tell you the number one reason for seeing you today, if you're not convinced in their language, if their tone of voice isn't really aligned, this is where you can say, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, do you mind if I challenge you on this a little bit? Are you sure this is your number one goal? If nothing was stopping you, this is the goal that you'd want to achieve. At this point, your client will usually say, well, actually, no. If nothing was stopping me, I would achieve X, Y, and Z. And then they would start to open up about the real reason why they are there. Think about this. If you want to sell big, if you've got a transformational product or service that can truly make a shift in the life of your client, why wouldn't you want to talk to your client on a deeper level about either what's stopping them or the challenges that they've got, or the ultimate goal that they want to achieve? Find out the number one thing. It might seem counterintuitive that surely I've got a better chance of selling my product or service if we're talking about their 5 or 6 areas that they want help with. But actually what it does is it distracts the mind, and it means that you are now being interviewed by your client and they're asking all the questions and they have all the power, and you're basically just trying to react to those questions instead of you leading and guiding the pace of the conversation. So what you can do as well is when your client starts to get distracted and they start talking about different things, you can say, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, this is great. I can answer all of these questions towards the end or at another time. What I'm aware of though is that you came in to see me today because you told me your ultimate goal was to achieve X. So let's get back to that now and look at that reason why you're here today. And then you refocus the conversation. Focus is key when it comes to sales. Now, I totally understand if going ahead with this solution today is not an option right now, that's okay. My question for you though is, what is your plan for achieving the goal if you're not going ahead with this solution today? By asking that question, it allows your client in that moment who is thinking about the reasons not for going ahead to realize, wow, actually, I don't have a plan in place. You can walk away from today and that's okay. Or we can sit down, we can figure this thing out properly. What do you want to do? So by watching this video today, what is the one thing that you can do in your business to truly achieve the sales that you know you deserve? Comment below, let me know, and I'm going to be replying to all those comments as well. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. And by the way, don't forget, hit the subscribe button. If you're not done it yet, this is Slothy, and this is another Slothy over here. It's for a whole different time. I'll see you in the next one.